Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Friday, July 10th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Ball State game in 57 days, the game against Michigan in 141 days. Got to thank our friends at Jeff Ruby's of Columbus, the award-winning upscale steakhouse in downtown Columbus, named one of the top 50 steakhouses in America by Food Network. Just go to jeffruby.com/Columbus to check out the menu and make a reservation today. All right, I'm joined by Tony Gerdeman of Buckeye Insiders here inside the Schottenstein Center, where just got a chance to talk to Jake Diebler, Ohio State head basketball coach. And we have some breaking news for everyone. You know how Tony, everyone always talks about the fact that, I wish Ohio State played more in-state opponents. Yeah. Well, friends, we have great news for you.
Yeah, announced today there's going to be a doubleheader of in-state opponents. Ohio State, Cincinnati, Dayton, and Xavier are going to get together and play an exhibition. Ohio State will be playing Cincinnati. Dayton will be playing Xavier. And Tom, this is going to be an outdoor game.
It is going to be an outdoor game, something that Ohio State has, let's say, a mixed history with, trying to do that with the basketball, in the basketball world. But they're going to be playing at the Linder Family Tennis Center. That's where they play the Cincinnati Open tennis event every summer. It's basically right across the highway from Kings Island down outside of Cincinnati. And sometimes they play the Final Four in a football stadium every year, and you look at that every year and you go, there are so many bad seats for that. This, a tennis court and a basketball court, you look at that and you go, this was a really good idea.
Yeah, and fans, there will be tickets for fans for the event, and media will be there, and I think it's enough of a professional environment that wind won't be much of a factor there, but it's still something that you're going to have to deal with. And as we were talking earlier, they're going to have to monitor dew points and those things just to make sure that the condensation is under control. And if there are weather issues or anything like that, they would just go play at UD Arena instead, which would be a little bit of a bummer. But still getting to see all of these Ohio teams in one place is something that Jake Diebler has been trying to make happen, and said others have been trying to make happen. It's just hard to get it completely over the finish line. So I think this is a good first step. It's exhibition, so you're not going to be hurt by it. You don't have to worry about your record. He said once they get closer, and we can, I guess, October 7th is the date.
It's a Wednesday.
Yep. Likely a Wednesday afternoon, just kind of out of the blue, assuming the weather is good, out of the blue. Or into the blue, and just being able to find some different matchups and what are you trying to work on, what are you trying to accomplish. They'll know more about what their team looks like at that point and know how to move forward. But overall, it sounds like a pretty fun event. Low stakes, high reward.
Yeah, exactly. I think the fact that it is an exhibition game and the fact that it's October 7th is your big tip-off there, because this is not just an exhibition game, it's an early exhibition game where they're going to have a couple other exhibitions. They will have one that's at home, and they'll have one that's a private, closed, they call it a secret scrimmage, which it's, not really a secret, but it's not open to the public. So they'll have three of those. That was what Jake Diebler said they were going to sort of lay out in terms of their plan for the preseason. But yeah, this is a really good first step towards something that I think would be a really good goal for them to have. And you want to do this and you want to play this in, I always think of the Beanpot tournament in Boston that for college hockey, where it's Harvard and BU and BC and Northeastern, and they play every year and they play it at the Garden, and it's this like big thing. Now those are four teams in the same city, but it would be kind of cool if you could do maybe you do it 1 year in Cincinnati at the arena that's kind of downtown there next to the river, and then you do it at Nationwide Arena 1 year, and do it as a 2-day event, and you play 2 games and that would be something that would really be interesting to sort of see them sort of strive for. Obviously, you're not anywhere close to there right yet, but this is probably one of those things where let's see what the fan interest in something like this is, because it seems like something that if it's a decent day, Wednesday afternoon in October is not an ideal time for people who, have jobs in school and that sort of thing. But if you get some decent feedback on that, this can turn into something bigger.
Well, and it won't be televised. We know there are some exhibition games going around that can fuel NIL, or some matchups that will fuel NIL. This feels like a thing that they could do to fuel the NIL, and you are willing to accept a possible loss if it means an extra, $800,000 into the coffer. So I think maybe that's a way to get it done, because you can sell it. You can sell it Cleveland, Toledo, whatever, like different parts of the state, Las Vegas.
That would be the most college sports thing to have 4 teams from Ohio play in Las Vegas.
Right, and so there are those things that you can do with it. You can package it. So I think that's going to be something that we see moving forward, and it you can create your own little first 4 type of thing every year if you wanted to. And for the people around Southwest Ohio that are familiar with that kind of thing, you'd think that would be something they'd be interested in as well.
Yeah, and the fact that Cincinnati and Xavier are on other, opposite sides of this event. I know they still do the crosstown shootout most years every year, but that's, are you taking away from that kind of event if you do this? Maybe, who knows? But just a very interesting idea, really interesting venue, and something that I'm looking forward to. We were immediately going, okay, is this going to screw up football content if we all go down and cover this? Because this is one of these things where it's like, this seems like this will be just a really fun event, and relatively low stakes, but just kind of a cool experience to see that. So October 7th, it will be Ohio State. We'll put out information about how to get tickets and all that kind of stuff. We'll try, and as soon as we get that information from them, we'll try and throw that in the description for the podcast and the front page post at BuckeyeInsiders.com and all that.
So we can do that now.
We can do that now because guess what? We are at BuckeyeInsiders.com right now. We didn't do that right off the top of the show, but hang on, and before don't turn it off yet. If you're like, I don't want to hear this again, we will have we got a chance to talk to Jake Diebler. I will throw the video of that interview with him because he talked about some other stuff. I'll throw the video of that after we finish talking, so you can listen to that whole thing as well.
Yeah, it's a really great comments about being the Ohio State head coach and how you kind of have to help build the entire state basketball wise. So that's why he's always been in favor of something like this. And that's why he's championing that effort now.
Yeah. So, and we are going to be championing everything that's happening at BuckeyeInsiders.com. We launched the site on Wednesday, got a fantastic immediate reception. You never know, first day of launch, it's always like, will people show up? Will the site work? Great news, the site works, everyone. And great news, a bunch of people showed up. A bunch of people we were excited to see, and plenty of new folks as well. So off to a really fun start there, and we hope you will join us there as well. Just go to the front page of the site, click on subscribe, and it is a relatively easy process. And if you have any issues whatsoever, just shoot me an email, tom@BuckeyeInsiders.com, and I'm happy to help walk you through that process. If you have any issues, it is not Tony's problem, it is my problem. So, and we'd be happy to help you with all of that. So there you go. Thank you also to our friends at Jeff Ruby's Columbus, proudly offering nationally acclaimed USDA prime steaks, seafood and sushi, impeccable service, live entertainment, and an attention to detail that is simply unmatched. Just go to jeffruby.com/Columbus to check out the menu and make a reservation today. All right, so stick around. You'll get a chance to hear from Jake Diebler in just a minute, but that will do us for us for now. Thank you all for joining us. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
So many moving parts that, to make something like this happen and get it off, it takes a lot of people. And just excited that everybody's gotten together to make it happen. Where it goes from here, we'll see. But I think this is a great first step, certainly. From
what I understand, and I presume no one's going to say anything until 10 a.m., but this is going to be outdoors. I mean, what's your thought about that? I mean, that's planning in and of itself to put a basketball court outside, and the venue you're using as well. I think getting all 4 teams together and doing it in a venue like that, it's exciting, and you might as well try something different. It's going to be really early in the preseason, so it'll be a great time for everybody to get some minutes and just see where you're at relative to someone else. And so the great thing now with having the additional exhibition game is you get a different marker than what you traditionally have. So I'm excited that it's outdoors. I've never been a part of a live game outside like that. We used to play outside all the time growing up, so I know it won't be the same surface as what I played on growing up, but I'm excited about it. You'll have different things, right? Wind, all that stuff, but who cares? It's going to be fun to play outside and be a part of this great event that is for something bigger than basketball. It's great for the basketball community in Ohio, but it's also great, for what Caresource is doing, Jay's Light, which we're familiar with, and Coach Grant and his family, and to be a part of that and help support
what they're doing is special.
How close have you come to getting something like this off the ground in years prior?
We've gotten really close. We've had coaches, on board and just couldn't execute it. It's hard to find dates. This has been something that I've made known to the other 3 schools that we want to be a part of, and we'll do whatever we can to make happen. It's taken some time, I think, to get everybody, behind that, but we're here now, and that's a great thing. So we've been trying for a couple years, but excited that it's being executed finally, and we're excited to be a part of it.
And how did you solidify a location? How did that kind of come about? Because I'm sure you've talked about wanting to take some of this stuff throughout the state and do things outside of Columbus. How did you decide on a location?
I think there's a lot of people involved in the decision making, and when that idea was presented to me personally, and after talking to Ross, we were like, great, let's do it. So where the idea originated, I'm not exactly sure, but once it was presented to us, we were fully on board.
Can you talk about the team? What teams are involved, and where is this going to take place against?
Yeah, so we're going to play against Cincinnati. Dayton's going to play against Xavier. We're going to play at the outdoor tennis facility down in the Cincinnati region. So really excited about it.
You talked about this important for Ohio basketball. Why?
I think you have 4 storied programs, and the basketball in this state has a rich tradition going all the way down to middle school AAU, right, and into the high school basketball. The tradition of the 4 programs is rich at every spot, and it's great for fans. It's great for the youth. It's great for our guys. I think everybody wins in doing something like this. But having grown up in Ohio, having played high school basketball here, played AAU basketball here, you always were familiar with these 4 schools, and I think everybody's always agreed it'd be really, really cool to have an event, right, where all 4 are involved. And so I'm obviously, being a homegrown Ohio kid, it doesn't get any better than this.
Jake, I think there's maybe some people who would say that Ohio State is like the flagship program, would have maybe little to gain, but perhaps a lot to lose in terms of like perception and conversation when you play the other major teams in Ohio. How do you feel about that? Because it seems like you're the opposite. You want Ohio State kind of like leading that charge, but it's like, I don't know if you've ever heard that conversation or what you think of it.
Listen, I think, my first college recruiting visit was to Dayton. And believe it or not, Shaka Smart, I think, was a GA at the time and had my family over there. So I've never viewed it as, whether there's something to gain or something to lose. I just think, and I've said this, when you're the head coach at Ohio State, and Ohio State is the flagship university in the state, you have a responsibility to grow the game of basketball within our borders. You can't do it alone. And each school has such a rich tradition that there is gain, lose. I don't view it that way. I think we all have a responsibility to enhance basketball here, because we all benefit from that. We all the better basketball is in our state, the better for all of us. And that's all I know is Ohio high school basketball. I've known it my whole life, and this is good for everybody. So the timing of it's unique because it's a lot earlier than any exhibition game we've ever played. So, as we approach that, we'll think through more strategically what we're trying to accomplish. Anytime there's a score, right, we're going to compete, and we're going to play to win and all of that stuff. But, we also, right, still will be figuring out kind of who we are and what guys' roles are and things like that. So there's a lot of moving parts in a game. And October 7th, Gary, right? It's early, but make no mistake, when the lights come on, the stadium lights outside, when the clock starts running, and I know every other program will be the same thing. It's going to be a fun, competitive day, and we're looking forward to being a part of it.
A little easier to control than maybe on an aircraft carrier that they've done before.
I know we don't have great history with games trying to be played on aircraft carrier, but I think a tennis facility will kick off a little better than that.
Talk about the team, the new faces on the team. How are they doing? How are they blending with the other current Buckeyes?
It's been great. Yeah, we got great young men who are consumed with, growing towards being a team that's just obsessed with winning. And our guys are really competitive. They get along on the court. They get along off the court. It's really competitive in between the lines, but it's competitive in a respectful manner. There's trash talk. There's like guys are getting into it, but it's good. It's healthy, and so the chemistry of this group, both on and off the court, has been really good. The off-court chemistry has been ahead of the on-court chemistry, but that on-court chemistry is getting better and better every week.
And AJ talked about your conversations. As soon as that portal opened, you were right on him and just convinced him that this was the place to be. What were those conversations like with him to get him to come?
Yeah, I felt like, he's unique because he can play both forward positions. He can play with another big. He could be the, quote unquote, the only big. I liked his skill set. He's got a ton of experience, playing high level international ball. Got good experience second half of the season at Kentucky. So it was just a matter of, I think, explaining what our vision for him would be, and then hearing from him what he was looking for. And once those were aligned, it was full court press, from that point on.
Same with Justin, getting him to come?
Yeah, familiar with the family, knew him for a long time, had recruited his brother to Vanderbilt. And so there was already familiarity. I didn't know Justin nearly as well, but the familiarity with his dad, with his mom, with his brother helped that process move along quickly. But we wanted to get bigger on the perimeter. We needed, obviously losing Bruce's production. We needed someone who has proven production at the high major level. He fit that. He can pass, he can rebound, he can get fouled, he can shoot. He checked all the boxes for us, and I know he's a great young man. So once he was in, that didn't take long to set the full court press on that one.
And he talks about the pickup game that he has with dad and his brother. Can you see it?
I would love to be a fan and just sit on the side and watch that. I think that'd be pretty good. I would bet on Scotty Sr., I think, still.
That's not what Justin said.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be watching. Maybe I should ref. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Is the rest of your exhibition schedule starting to wrap up at all? Like, what else could you guys do before we start playing games that count?
Yeah, we want to do at least one home live exhibition and then one private, I think, is the format of the three. We're still finalizing those details. We're waiting on, we'll have updates on our non-conference schedule here real soon. We're just waiting on some of the contracts to be finished, but every game is set. So once that stuff is across the line, we'll announce that. We're going to play a really tough non-conference schedule to help us get ready for what I think is going to be the deepest and best league in the country.